The boots didn't thunder or charge. They moved with a slow, deliberate cadence, like a clock ticking toward disaster. I hadn't heard that sound since my Navy days, but at 2:41 a.m., when it reverberated through our house, I knew trouble had found us. Not soldiers, but HOA enforcers in tactical gear, storming our home over a single potted rosemary plant. My name's Ethan Caldwell, and my wife, Lila, a former Green Beret sniper, was about to turn this suburban nightmare into a lesson in defiance. Our neighbor, Margaret Voss, thought she'd won by reporting our violation, but she had no idea Lila was already outmaneuvering her. By the end, Margaret's reign of control would collapse, and our quiet neighborhood would become a battleground for truth. It started with that rosemary plant, a small terracotta pot Lila placed by our mailbox the day we moved into Willow Crest. She said it brought calm, a touch of home after years of military postings. I thought we'd finally found a place to settle, a refuge from the chaos. Our son, Dylan, didn't care as long as the Wi-Fi was strong and the pantry was full. But a week later, a letter slipped under our door, no stamp, just stark, bold print. Saw notice of violation, HOA Regulation 12.4, unauthorized plant arrangement. Rosemary. Saw Lila read it, her eyes narrowing to slits. "They're probing us," she said. I chuckled, thinking she was exaggerating. "What, they hate herbs now?" Dylan called from the levying room. "We're in trouble for a saw plant saw?" I brushed it off, but Lila pinned the letter to the fridge like a war map. 2 days later, a second letter arrived, this time with a grainy black and white photo of our porch, the rosemary pot circled in red, snapped at night. Lila's jaw tightened. "They're watching us." I told her to ease up, it was just an HOA, not a spy ring. She shot back. "You're underestimating them." Then Margaret showed up, Yunin vy Ted, in a starched blouse and vy sore, gripping a clipboard like a general. "Rosemary's not approved," she said crisply, citing aesthetic discord, and pest attraction risks. Lila's smile was razor thin. "Didn't know we were at war." Margaret ignored her, muttering, "The board has decided," and strode off. That night, Lila ran Dylan through a backyard drill bike helmet, pool noodle, practicing perimeter sweeps. He groaned. "This isn't a combat zone." Lila's voice was cold. "Neither was Fallujah." The letters kept coming, fines, threats of enforcement action. A red sticker appeared on our door, saw final REVYEW. Saw Lila opened a locked case in the basement, her sniper gear untouched since we met. She didn't unpack it, but its presence changed the air, heavy with intent. Then came the silence before the storm. The neighborhood dogs stopped barking. Street lights flickered out. At 2:41 a.m., boots hit our hardwood floor. 3 men in tactical gear fanned across our lawn, MOVYing like wannabe commandos. Lila whispered, "Amateurs." Dylan, filming on his phone, muttered, "One's wearing knee pads." Lila nodded. "He's the breacher." I crouched by the window, pulse racing. "Should we call someone?" Lila's calm was unnervying. "If you're stopping me, pick a better moment." 3 sharp knocks rattled the door, a challenge. I opened it to 3 stone-faced men, one clutching a clipboard. "You're in violation of Regulation 12.4. Compliance procedures begin now," the leader barked, like a cop without a badge. Lila stepped forward, sleeves rolled up. "Big talk for a guy in fake patches and dollar store sunglasses." The leader flinched. His partner edged toward the flower bed. The third angled toward the driveway. "They're boxing us in," Lila murmured. She taunted their sloppy formation, then slipped into the shadows of the hedges. Our sprinklers erupted not with water, but with blinding chalk dust Lila had rigged days earlier. 2 men stumbled, coughing. The third raised a taser to slow. Lila dropped from a tree, disarming him in a blur. She zip-tied the second man with surgical precision. The leader backed off, hands raised, as Lila snatched his clipboard. It wasn't a checklist, it was a field brief. Our schedules, Dylan's trash runs, my coffee shop visits, all mapped out with phases, saw contact. Removal. Asset recovery. Saw Lila exhaled sharply. They'd been tracking us for weeks. Dylan's voice cracked. Asset saw what saw? We sat the men on the porch, their gear dumped in a bucket. Lila spread the clipboard's contents like a battle plan, revealing a fake contractor ID and HOA funds siphoned to a shell company, Vanguard Crest. Dylan blinked. Money laundering? Lila nodded. Margaret's war chest. I urged we call the police, but Lila was already hacking the HOA's server, pulling budgets and redacted files. A report labeled SAW RE47, Rapid Response Event SAW outlined forced EVY tie-ins of other families clinical, predatory, chilling. She's running ops on neighbors, I muttered. Lila's eyes hardened. Testing how far she can push before someone fights back. We scoured the neighborhood, spotting Margaret's fingerprints, yard ornaments with hidden cameras, fake security decals, a black van with no plates. A flyer in our gate blared, saw neighborhood harmony is everyone's duty. Disruptors and VYT removal. Saw Dylan found another in a neighbor's mailbox, marked Saw Phase 2 evaluation. Saw. It's a takeover, he said. Lila nodded. And we're behind enemy lines. One evening, the block went eerily quiet, no kids, no sprinklers, just a barbecue across the street. Margaret flipped burgers, smiling for a crowd, banners flapping like propaganda. We weren't in VY Ted. It's a power play, Lila said, eating defiantly on our porch. A military-grade drone buzzed overhead, its lens locking on Lila. It's profiling, she said as our phones lost signal. A smaller drone darted from the garden. Lila grabbed a rake, smashing it midair with one swing. The main drone retreated. Margaret raised her glass in a mocking toast, but her crowd thinned, murmurs spreading. Her next move was a full-scale raid. At 2:41 a.m., motion sensors flashed red. A heavy vehicle idled outside DIA personnel intimidation unit, no ammo, just fear. 5 figures in VY swords formed a wedge, floodlights blinding our windows. The doorbell rang once, cold and final. Lila whispered, Phase 1 lock. Initiate passive resist. We slipped to the crawl space as sprinklers fired flour, cloaking the yard in a haze. Lila dropped from the roof, detonating a flash bang of marbles. One man tripped, another fell over a hose. Margaret's voice blared over a speaker. You've rejected unity. This is your final chance to comply. Smoke from chemical fog jars choked the air. I triggered a chalk and air hose, blinding the last man. Dylan threw a glitter-strewn dummy, shorting Margaret's speaker. Lila fired a flare, and neighbors' lights flicked on, phones recording. The squad retreated under the weight of Scridanino shots fired, just humiliation. We thought exposure would end it. It didn't. By morning, Margaret's email spun the raid as a routine safety drill. Neighbors who'd filmed now avoided us. A borrowed dish was returned unwashed. Flyers branded us, disruptors, in her staged narrative. Margaret's response VY Dale, all soft lighting and piano music, called it misinformation. Lila countered with a VY RAL edit split-screen lies versus truth, ending with a neighborhood montage asking, Which world do you want to live in? It exploded online. Margaret stepped down after a special vote ousted her, but Lila warned, She's regrouping. Then came the knock soft, precise. Margaret stood there, no blazer, just a cardigan and a disarming smile. I want to talk, she said. Lila didn't flinch. You lost. Margaret's eyes gleamed. You think it's over? People forget. Order endures. She offered Lila a role her enforcer. You understand control. Lila's voice was ice. And if I say no? Margaret stepped back. We'll see how long your peace lasts. She left with a chilling promise. Power always finds its way back. We didn't celebrate. We checked sensors, rewrote protocols. Dylan added, False truce response, to our playbook. I held a cracked mug we'd glued together, a reminder that power doesn't always storm and it can knock politely. Lila knew this from the start. This wasn't a war, but a tightrope. And when power smiles at your door, you'd better remember why you bolted it shut.